Hey guys, it's Aaron King from Photog Adventures. Today on Astrophotog, we're going to talk about how to make a simple Milky Way time-lapse. Today, I want to talk about something that I get asked all the time. It's probably not going to be on everyone's checklist of, oh, I hope Photog Adventures talks about this. But it's something very simple, and it's something that all of us like to do. We go out and we do Milky Way photography, but then we get that kind of itch that says, what if I had an intervalometer? What if I could on camera do a time lapse? Something to do a time lapse of this Milky Way. I can see the sky moving so much. What would it be like in a time lapse? So I get asked, how do you guys do yours? We do them very, very, very simply. It's not a complicated process. The key thing is that get a time lapse any way that you can. Your camera, or even if you have a Canon and you want to use a third-party software that breaks the firmware a little bit and does their own thing like Magic Lantern. Magic Lantern's what I use. And I have a 5D Mark IV that has a built-in intervalometer. You're going to see that here. One of these time lapses is from a 5D Mark IV. That's from the onboard camera capabilities running a time lapse, and the other one is my 6D, my Canon 6D that has Magic Lantern running it. So we're going to make those two time lapses happen, and I'm going to show you how I do it in some easy quick steps of basically process your images, repeat the process on all of the images along the timeline, and then bring them into what I use, Adobe Premiere, and create that time lapse. So let's get started. I'm going to show you specifically Lightroom and Premiere's workflow. Let's go through it, not too quickly, but just very succinctly. I don't have to say much. It really is a simple process. So let's jump into these pictures that we got out of Goblin Valley. Brendan and I were out here with a Ukrainian TV show, and it was friggin' awesome. So when you go for your time lapse, you have to decide what is the beginning frame of your time lapse. And so right about here, I've been scrolling over and looking at the changes. Out of focus, this exposure changed between this exposure and now this one. Okay, there's the weird trailing happening, and then it becomes consistent from that point. Okay, I can see how it's moving in the time lapse, and so I've declared this one my first frame, and I'm going to go ahead and mark it with a color blue. In Lightroom, you can go color label, and I chose blue. And so I found the first frame and the last frame. You can see right here, I have several dozens of frames. Let's select all of them. Looks like 217 frames were taken from the time lapse. So it goes from that point at night when the Milky Way was pretty low to the point where, let me show you here, scroll all the way over and see how it's getting brighter. This isn't astronomical twilight. It has weird light bloom in the center because that's the moon rising. The moon started coming up at this point in the evening, and so we had many hours without the moon, but up until that point the sky was dark and then became bluer and bluer and bluer, which kind of makes for a cool time lapse. So let's go ahead and pick an image from somewhere in the middle. I just like to have enough of the Milky Way core up and enough of the Milky Way core to see in my processing, because this processing is going to be a very simple global processing job done, and it's going to be done here on the core and the foreground, and then just apply it, sync it everywhere. In a time lapse, you don't need to go through each frame and perfectly develop and process them. It's just waste of your time, because it's going to be an animated feature. People won't notice it. They just won't notice. Heck, they won't even notice if you have star trailing, and they won't notice if you're in focus. You just need to make sure you're in most focus you could possibly be in, and go from there. It's so easy to do a time lapse. So I think that is solid. It's something. Now compare it to the other images. Plain, bland, and it pops. And this is a frame of a time lapse. Remember, frame of a time lapse. You have more freedom to do weirdo things to this because it's just going to be a single frame in a time lapse, and all of them are going to be synced up to this, and so the whole thing together can look awesome. Let's find out. So now I'm going to show you quickly how I sync all of these settings to each other. So now I have my frame in the center. Let's choose off of this. So now you can see that I've selected my frame that I made changes, and I'm going to shift click down to here. And then I'm going to sync settings, and all of these I can sync because the global changes I made will be fine on all of them. So synchronize. So now what you have to do is you have to export all of these images, and don't have to export them huge. So I'm going to select all of the ones from the 6D camera using the 24mm Rokinon, and let's go ahead and do file, export. Now here's the thing, I always name them in a sequence so that there's a number at the end of them. Let's go ahead and do not Death Valley, but Goblin Valley. Here's the key elements. I like to keep the quality 100% and JPEG, but I resize to fit a percentage or a long edge. In this case, I'm going to do long edge 1080 and resolution only 150. What would have been 300 is now cut in half. And so I'm getting a smaller image by half, and I'm forcing it to resize to 1080 wide, so it's good to put on here as a 1080 clip as a video. And that's all I do. I don't change my quality. I don't do any other stuff. This is going to be enough. Make the image from going from a 7-8 meg image down to, I think, 2 point something. And so let's see how that goes. Let's open up a Finder window. Do 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 do. I'm singing a song that I don't want to tell you what it is. I doubt any of you could recognize it right now. But hey, 862 kilobytes, and that JPEG image is 1080 size. So sweet. It's working out well. So now it's exporting all of them in sequence, and we wait. So now we have our files. It took a little bit of time, but you take all those files and you sync every edit you made, and then, okay, good. I have these 2 folders right here. I have the 60 raw images, no, 60 time-lapse images finals all right here. You can see how the thing is looking right here. Boom. There's the time-lapse happening as I just scroll through that real fast. And I also have the 5D Mark IV's finals. And that is, oh, I see what happened. It just made smaller. 5D Mark IV time-lapse images all right here. So now, how do I get these images that are all been processed, made JPEGs, they're as small as 700, 800 kilobytes. How do I bring them into Premiere and treat them as a time-lapse? You might think that that is the hard part, that that's coming up is going to be the challenge. But, I mean, it's crazy that this video has taken this long to get to this point because there's nothing left to do. Practically nothing. So let's go into Premiere. Regular project. If you guys are familiar with Premiere at all, you know what you're looking at. If not, you see this section down here. This is where the action's going to be. I simply right-click on this and do an import. And from that import, I'm going to choose these files from somewhere. First thing first, the one. If you're on a PC, you're already going to see the option down here that lets you check it and say, import this as a clip. Options right now in Mac, you click on it and now you can have a choice to check, do you want this to be an image sequence? So when you've checked that, what's happening is Premiere is looking at this image with that name and the file name sequence all below there and saying, okay, I can pull all of these files in and create a clip out of them. So you hit import and almost instantly you have a clip over here. And the way that you work with clips in Premiere, if you want to just say you like the format, the size, resolution that the clip came in as, and you don't have to set up your project to be a specific 1080p, 720, blah, 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 then just drag and drop. You grab it right here, go down to the new button right there, new layer, new paper, newer. You might be familiar with this icon for other things right here. It's a new project in the timeline. It opens up my clip in the timeline as my animated clip. It's easy. It's very easy. One thing I like to do, because these clips tend to be a little short, is I'll do a speed duration and make it 50% as fast as normal. It is 14 seconds when it's 50%, and there are enough frames in here to do 14 seconds without any sort of weird skipping or jumping. Let's bring in my other clip. Right click, import, go up here, instead of 5D Mark IV, let's go to the 60 time-lapse images and just grab it here. Check my options, image sequence, perfect, import, boom. And now I can just drag this onto the timeline because I've already created one, and I'm gonna make this speed duration 50%. And now I have my time lapse here and here. It goes all the way to the end of the time lapse and then comes back to this image. And this one's got a little bit more green in there, but dang, it's cool. It's ready to go. I can add some music in here. I can do something. I typically like a specific song. And let's go ahead and put it all together and show you it in the final. I'm serious. This is the end. That's all you have to do. In summary, take your clips, all your images, put them in whatever processor you want, and just edit them. Sync them all up so that they have their nice, cool Milky Way look. Then Make sure you export them out in a name sequence that'll go from one number to another. It could be any number at all. You can start at 480 if you want to and have 480 to go to 560. It doesn't matter what the numbers are as long as they go in complete sequential order. If there's a missing number, if you have a skip, it will just stop at that last number. So if you have 180 images, but after the 5th image, you don't have 6, you have 7, it will only pull in clips 1 through 5. That's when it'll end. It'll just be done. It'll think, oh, those are the ones in the sequence. I didn't see 6, so it must not be there. Boom, we're done. You want to make sure that your sequence is perfectly named, and then Premiere just pulls it right in, and I don't have to do any work. I can do extra stuff to my time lapse, like go in here and decide, well, from this position and scale, I want it to be here, but then I kind of at the end of the clip, I want it to sort of zoom in. Well, let's find out. Let's do a nice easy zoom. So now it's 1110. So at the very end of my clip, it's going to be 1110. So it just kind of moves in the entire animation, just slowly pans in. And I like that. I'll have that motion. Just slow, subtle stuff. It's fun. Let's go to this clip. Let's go to the beginning of its frame. Let's keyframe that by clicking on these 2 stopwatches and then go, well, what do I want it to do? I like the idea of this pulling out. And so I'm going to start zoomed in instead on this one. So now I'm going to change my first frame, 110, and then I'm going to pull back all to the end of the video, go back 1 frame. So now right here, make it 100, hit enter. The keyframe is automatically added right there. And you can see the animation starts in and pulls out. So now let's look at our time lapses. In fact, let's do it big. I'm never going to get bored of a time lapse of the Milky Way. Then the moon starts rising and changing the sky. You can see how taking a Milky Way shot when the moon is out, how it affects it, especially when it's that close. Oh, did you see that? That jump right there. What's that jump from? That jump is from the fact that a battery probably died. And then I put it in, started it up again, and it just had a little bit of a delay. And you can see how most of my time lapse is after that jump. So I'm not going to get rid of it. I think that's awesome. Thanks guys for watching this video. Time lapses are easy. All you have to do is process your images and then just bring in the file sequence into Premiere as a clip, an image sequence. It's stinking easy. It's hard not to do it right. So enjoy doing that. Get out there, get a Milky Way shot, and then when you're done and you're thinking, okay, I'm kind of tired of this, just hit it on a time lapse. Get your intervalometer out. Get a magic lantern installed onto your camera, or go for your camera's onboard intervalometer sequence and just start a time lapse. Enjoy it. Hang out the rest of the night and just see how the night goes. So thanks for watching Astrophotog. I'm Aaron King. See you guys next time on Photog Adventures.